So I was on Reddit the other day and somebody made a post asking how they could start a YouTube channel to make money. I made a pretty in-depth response to their question, and afterwards I was thinking to myself, hey, I need to make a video about this so I can share it with everybody instead of just having it here in this one subreddit. So here we are. And look, the information I'm getting ready to share with you, a lot of people will probably make you pay for it, but I'm just gonna give it to you here. I've also got a worksheet for you as well, where I'm gonna be mentioning something about a spreadsheet here in just a little bit. I'm gonna put a link to that spreadsheet down in the description where you can go ahead and use it yourself as well without having to actually build the whole thing out yourself. Here's what you wanna do if you are just getting started, or maybe you've already started a little bit, but you're not really sure the direction that you're trying to go with your content or your channel or whatever as it relates to making money. Start by listing out all of the types of content that you would be interested in creating. The reason you wanna start with this is because YouTube is a long game. Sometimes it can take you a while to get going. In most cases it does. And in addition to that, if you're gonna be doing this for money, then there's a really good chance you're gonna be doing it for a long period of time once it starts making money. Therefore, you have to make sure that you're doing something that you enjoy so that it's sustainable. But once you've listed out the types of content that you would be interested in making, the next thing you wanna do is you wanna hop on YouTube, go to the search bar function and start looking around for other channels who make content like that and see how they monetize. The reason for this is because some channels, even though they get tons of views, they don't make a lot of money. Other channels, they might not necessarily need a lot of views in order to make substantial amounts of money. So because of that, you wanna make sure that you're doing what I'm getting ready to tell you so that you can make sure that you are kind of vetting the content that you're going into to make sure that it does have the potential for you to make the most money. When doing this, you wanna look at channels across all different sizes. You wanna look at channels with 1,000 subscribers, channels with 25,000, 50,000, 100,000 up. You wanna look at everybody who makes content like you are considering making so that you can make sure that you are figuring out every possible way of monetization you can. Once you find those channels that are making the content that you're interested in making, the next thing you wanna do is you wanna go and you wanna look at all of their video descriptions. The reason you wanna look in their video descriptions is because it doesn't matter if somebody's promoting something as an affiliate, there'll be a link in the description. If they have a sponsor, there'll be a link in the description. If they have crowdfunding, there'll be a link in the description. If they're selling merch, there'll be a link in the description. If they offer products and services, those links will also be in the video description. But again, you wanna look across their whole archive. You don't wanna just look at one video, you wanna look across their archive at as many videos as you have time for so that you can look in all of their descriptions and look for all of the different things that they've promoted over time if it's an established channel. You also wanna keep an eye out for things they continue to promote. So if you notice last year they were promoting this thing, this year they're promoting this thing, yesterday they had a video promoting this thing, then in that case, that thing is working out really good for that particular audience around that type of content for that creator. So in your case, that would be a pretty good thing to add to the list in terms of the possible things that you're gonna use to monetize. As you're collecting all this information, you wanna make sure that you add it to a spreadsheet. And again, I have a spreadsheet that I made for you down in the description that already has all this stuff filled out. But for those of you that are wanting to make one yourself, these are the things you wanna make sure you include. At the very top, you wanna have the channel name and channel size. You'll be referencing this later. You wanna have a channel link. You'll reference this later in the future as well. Their average view counts across their last 10 videos. You wanna have a listing of any affiliates that they're currently working with or anything that they're promoting as an affiliate. In the next column, you wanna make sure that you put a list of the affiliate commissions after you research the things that they are actually promoting and you figure out the commissions they put behind them. You also wanna make sure you have a sponsors column, a personal products column, services, merch, and a crowdfunding column. Once you have that sheet filled out, or in the one that I've already provided for you, what you can do is you can go down to the bottom and you can right click if you're using Google Sheets and you can duplicate this page into as many niches as you're considering getting into so that you can do this research properly for each one. The reason some of that information is in there, like the affiliate commissions, for example, is because that's going to help you determine how fast you can monetize and how much you're gonna be able to generate quickly based on the amounts that are paid out on the affiliate commission side of things. The average view count column is there. So in the event that they're working with sponsors, that can also give you an idea of the different channels that you're gonna be looking at of about how many view counts they get on average that is attractive to sponsors for that particular niche. This whole sheet's something that you're gonna be able to reference in the future. So make sure as you're doing this research that you are filling everything out so that you can just give yourself the most information possible in order to make sure that you make the best decision for what it is that you're gonna be getting into. Now you might've noticed I did not add ad revenue to that spreadsheet. And the reason for that is because that's a default thing by YouTube and you're not gonna be able to see that on your end in terms of like exactly how much they're getting to be able to get an idea of CPMs and things like that. Technically, you could go create an AdWords account and then within that AdWords account, you could use their keyword explorer there so that you can get general CPMs and all that if you wanted to go down that rabbit hole, which you're more than welcome to do. I don't even encourage it. But for the sake of keeping this simple and helping you get a really good start on things that can make you more money faster, I'm focusing more on alternate monetization. Next, while filling out this spreadsheet, you're going to start to notice over time, as you start looking at a few different channels, you're going to start to notice that there's going to be a lot of similar things that that each person is promoting within each different niche that you're looking into. Some people are gonna lean more on AdSense, and when you start noticing that pattern, that most likely means that it's harder to monetize through the alternative methods that we're talking about. In other cases, you're gonna find some people lean more on affiliate marketing and they only focus on a few products because that's only what's available for that type of content. And in other cases, depending on the niches that you're researching, you're gonna find people are promoting all kinds of stuff and they're able to make money in tons of different ways. This is why you wanna do this research. But one thing that I really wanna focus you on is pay really close attention within the niches that you're looking at on anybody that's promoting things as an affiliate. And the reason for this is because as an affiliate, you can start making money with the very first videos you upload to YouTube, because you do not have to be in the YouTube partner program. You do not have to be monetized on YouTube is what that means, in order to be able to share a great piece of content that brings attention to something that you would be promoting as an affiliate, that when somebody clicks on that link and they make a purchase, that you'll get a commission. This can happen in your very first video. So right out of the gate, you can be off to the races making money from the content you're putting out on YouTube. As you're doing this and you're researching all the different affiliate companies and you're looking at all their commission structures, if you do find that some of them have requirements that you currently don't meet, then what I recommend you do there is you color code it inside of the spreadsheet so that you can come back to it later once you've crossed the requirements. Next, you want to make sure you repeat that process for each niche that you're interested in so you can make sure that you understand which has the highest profit potential for you. As a part of this, it's also important to be extremely honest with yourself about which one that you would enjoy making the most, and that you do factor that into your decision, because at the end of the day, YouTube is a long game. So you're going to get known for the type of content that you're making. So it's important to make sure that you're embedding yourself within the content that you are going to enjoy, because you're going to be doing this for a while. Next, for the niche and monetization method you choose, it's important to make sure that you get a really good understanding of the people that are going to be participating in what it is that you're doing. In the industry, we call these people our target audience, our ideal viewers, our avatars, whatever label you want to put on it. It's essentially the people that you are trying to reach with your content that will help you achieve the goal that you are trying to achieve while you're adding value to them. To do this, simply look in subreddits, look in Discord groups, look in Facebook groups, anywhere where people congregate online. You want to go and you want to start participating in those groups, and you want to start studying the groups, not just the posts they make, but you also want to make sure that you're looking at how people are reacting to those posts, the things that trigger people in those groups, the things that they're always talking about in those groups, the things they love about the subject, the things they hate about the subject, the memes and jokes and references that are commonly made within the subject. You also want to look at the content that's shared in those groups as well, so that you can get an understanding of the things that people are into in that group. And if possible, since we're talking about monetization here and making a channel for money, if possible, you also want to make sure that you are looking for any clues on things people typically buy. So let's say that you're going to create like a tech resource, right? Then in that particular case, if there's certain things that people are talking about right now in that particular space, those are things that you might want to make content about and make an affiliate link about it, so that you can have that opportunity to talk about something that is of higher interest in that community right now. And look, as you're studying these communities, these are going to be your people. These are going to be the people that are also going to be interacting with your content, and you're going to have the opportunity to connect with these people. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that you do understand all of these different aspects of how they think, the things that they care about, the things they don't care about, and so on. And all of these little details that you're going to collect from this community are things that you're also going to think about when it comes to the topics of the videos that you're posting, the words that you use in your title, the imagery and the words that you use in your thumbnails, all of the different ways that you're going to connect with them. You're going to help understand how to connect with them better by studying those groups. And also make sure that you're reading the comments on the YouTube channels that you've already listed in your spreadsheet as well, because those will also give you a lot of really good insights into the community. And really quick, before we move on to the next steps about starting the channel itself, one thing that I just want to put a big spotlight on here is that when it comes to that whole thing that I just went through about studying the communities that you are considering getting into, or that you're deciding to get into, the reason that you want to do that is because it's going to help you be able to connect with all of those people better. And when you can connect with them better and understand them better, it's going to help you make videos about things that they truly care about, not just things that you think they might care about or things that you think they should care about, but it's going to be things that you know that they care about. And it's going to help you excel here on YouTube if you can do that. The next thing you want to do in this process, of course, is you want to make sure that you do write down exactly how much money that you're trying to make. Because if you don't know and you're just like, hey, I just want to make money, but you don't have any clear targets, then what's going to happen is you're not going to have anything that you're really going for. You're just going to be kind of hoping for money versus what do I need to do? What videos do I need to make? And what exactly do I need to promote in order to reach this particular goal that I have? If you're clear on exactly how much that you're trying to make on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, then being able to break it down in that way is going to help you significantly because you're going to have a clear target that you're after. after, and that's going to help you focus everything in the right direction in order to help you achieve that goal. Put a dollar amount on it and write it down. Next, once you write down that dollar amount, you wanna go back to the spreadsheet, and in the spreadsheet, you wanna take a look at these things. Based on a combination of average view counts and the different options for monetization, which things do you need to prioritize in order to hit your goal number the fastest? These monetization options are gonna be the ones that you're gonna lean on for your first videos because these are the ones that have the highest potential for income. Next, plan out your first 10 videos. This is the start of your channel launch towards helping you being able to generate income from YouTube. Keep in mind that a full launch to get your YouTube channel into a nice stride where you're getting consistent views and income and all of that stuff, it can take a while based on the knowledge, experience, and the skills that you bring onto YouTube with you, so keep that in mind. And as part of that, the faster you can develop your skills and the deeper you can get your understanding about YouTube and how the platform works, the faster everything is gonna work out for you. But when planning your videos, what you wanna do is you wanna go look at all of the channels within your niche that you've put into your spreadsheet. You wanna go to their videos page and you wanna sort their videos by popular. Now, what you wanna look for is when you're sorting their videos by populars, you wanna look for things that have been popular in the last 3 months, the last 6 months, in some cases the last year, but you wanna look for similarities across the channels on content that they've published that has consistently performed well on all of the channels that you have listed in your spreadsheet. Of course, feel free to drop an original video as well, but the idea is to lean on things that people have proven to be interested in within the niche that you're getting into for your first handful of videos so that you already have proof that people are into the topics that you're going to be covering. All you have to do from that point is get them to click on what it is that you're doing and get them to enjoy the piece of video content. There's also a tool that can help you with this research side of things, and even with your whole YouTube channel. They got over, I think it's like 90 different tools that help you with your YouTube channel. It's called TubeBuddy. I'll put a link to them down in the description below, but if you are embarking on this YouTube journey, it's a tool that most of us use, and I really encourage you to use it. But again, a link to that is down in the description where you can try it out for free if you want to give it a shot. Next, this part is really, really important. When you're planning out your first 10 videos, another thing you want to make sure that you're doing is that you have a clear path for the viewer to follow. So as you're putting all of this stuff together, it's really important to think of the content that you're going to be publishing as content sets, because on YouTube, videos perform better when you can get people to the end and then they watch more of your content. So what you want to make sure that you're thinking about is if somebody comes into video 1, then what can I make next that would be a great fit for that viewer, because you want to be able to chain videos together in that way and literally recommend that people watch another video once they get to the end of your video. And I'm pointing because when I recommend people watch an additional piece of content, that's usually what I do, and you'll see it at the end of this video too. But the idea is to think about the content in 5 to 10 video blocks so that you can think about how each video complements each other, because what you want ultimately is for people to come in and binge watch your content. Then your channel will do great right out of the gate. And all of the stuff that I'm talking about here, you should be doing this on your first 10 videos, but you should also keep doing this once you get going as well. But what I'm trying to help you with here is just understanding the things that you need to do in order to get your channel going and to make sure that you're monetizing as fast as possible. The next part of being a YouTube content creator that a lot of people struggle with, which is why I'm talking about it in this video, is you also need to make sure that the thumbnails and titles that you are making for your content, for those 10 videos that you put out and the ones that you'll also do in the future, you want to make sure that those videos have clear thumbnails and titles. The idea when it comes to thumbnails is to stop people on their tracks, stop them from scrolling on a mobile feed, and to grab attention if it shows up on a computer. But the idea is to make sure that your thumbnail imagery helps the viewer identify that your content is something that they might care about. That's it. I mean, of course, the real goal is to get them to click on it, but in order to get them to click on it, first they have to realize that it's something that they care about. So you want to make sure that you are leveraging your thumbnails and your titles to help people just clearly be able to understand what your video is about and be able to identify it when it shows up in their mobile feed or on their homepage on a computer or on their TV. The exercise that I like to have people do with this is when you are putting a thumbnail and a title together for your YouTube channel is think about it from this perspective. If it were to show up in a mobile feed or if it were to show up on a homepage, what about that particular thumbnail and title combination would, one, help your viewer identify that it's something that they care about? And you're gonna know this based on doing the community research that we talked about before. And also as part of this title and thumbnail combination, what about this not only helps them identify it's something that they care about, but it's also something that would compel them to click on it. You wanna make sure you're defining that with every video. And the reason for that is because if you can't define it, then you can't expect somebody else to click on it. So you wanna make sure that you are defining that and that you have a very intentional approach to how you're doing your thumbnails and titles if you wanna start making money on YouTube as fast as possible. That tip that I just gave, do that for every video always. And another thing I wanna make sure I bring to your attention, because you're probably watching this if you're just getting started, is that when it comes to YouTube, topic beats everything. If you have a bad topic, it doesn't matter what your thumbnail and title is, you are handicapping yourself yourself at the topic level, right? You're handicapping your thumbnails and titles' ability to do their job by choosing a bad topic that people aren't interested in. This is why when I mentioned before about going and researching the other channels that you are going to be competing with essentially on YouTube, the reason that you want to go and you want to sort their videos by popular and you want to look for recency there is because that's going to help you know and prove topically that the videos that you're putting out have a proven interest, so that you know that the content you're publishing has the potential to get the viewership that you're after. Next, you want to think about how you're going to start each video that you're going to be publishing based on the topic, title, and thumbnail. For the rest of this video, just to make it easy on me for the things that I'm explaining, we're going to call topic, thumbnail, and title. We're going to group that all together and we're going to call that packaging from this point on in the video. Okay, so the reason that you want to think about your packaging when it comes to how you're starting your video, the actual video content when you're recording the content, when you're planning it out, the reason that you want to make sure that you're considering your topic, title, and thumbnail, your packaging, is because your packaging creates an expectation of what the viewer might get or what they might be expecting when they come into your video. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are meeting them in the actual video itself with their expectations so they don't abandon the video quickly. In the industry, we call this the hook or the intro, but when it comes to your packaging is also part of that hook or that intro because again, it builds that expectation and you have to deliver on that as soon as they click on the video, or at least suggest that you're going to be delivering on it. When it comes to your hook or the intro of your video, it's also important to just remember that the better you can connect with the viewer there, the higher the likelihood that they're gonna watch the video for a longer period of time and maybe even complete the video because they didn't abandon the video in the beginning. I mean, that's just like basic, common sense is how you would think of it. But a lot of people, when they start making video content, they don't look at it through that lens. And because of that, they don't spend much time on their intros and how they're making that connection between their thumbnails and titles and how their videos start. And that causes them to, kind of have a hard time when they're trying to get things moving here on YouTube. So make sure that you are always considering how your thumbnails, titles, and your topics work together with your intro and how your intro can make a massive impact on how people experience the rest of your video. Next, when you start getting views, YouTube gives us something called our YouTube Analytics. Our YouTube Analytics gives us tons of information about how people respond to the content that we're putting out. It's important that you learn how to read those analytics because those analytics are your path to success on YouTube. I also want to say, when it comes to the effort that you're putting into your YouTube videos, a lot of people will take the approach to where they won't put in much effort when they're getting started with the idea that they'll put in more effort when things start working out. But I encourage you to do that in reverse. And the reason for that is sometimes it will take a little bit of time for YouTube to start showing your videos to the right people and to really get a good understanding of who the perfect fit is for your content. But what happens is if you start making content that's good from the day that you start making videos, then you start building out this archive. And as soon as you have a video pop or a couple of videos pop, that starts feeding all that other content on your channel because how YouTube works is once they identify that a user is enjoying your content, then they'll start showing them other content from your channel. So what you do not want is you don't want to lose that viewer because you didn't put effort in that first, content that you're putting out. Instead, you want to make sure that you're making everything as good as you possibly can so that whenever people find your content, they can consume as much of it as they want to, and it's all great content. But either way, as you start getting views, if it happens right away or if it takes you a handful of videos for it to start working, then you want to make sure that you are going into your YouTube analytics and you're looking at the following statistics. First is audience retention. The reason that you want to look at your audience retention reports is because it's a second-by-second graph of how people are responding to the content once they start watching it. So you can use that as a guide of sorts to help you make better decisions when you're putting your content together based on what the graph is showing you in terms of where people are staying in the videos and where people are leaving in the videos. Your click-through rate is also extremely important on YouTube because if YouTube shows your videos to somebody, that's called an impression. If YouTube shows your video to somebody in the platform, they don't click on it, that's a negative sign in terms of, people aren't responding to this. But if they show your thumbnails to people and they do click on them, then it's a positive sign. So what YouTube factors in is how many people you're able to get to click on your thumbnail and title compared to the amount of people that they show it to. So it's critical that you pay attention to your click-through rate. And when you do this, you don't want to just look at your click-through rate in an averaged out view in your YouTube analytics. Instead, you have an option to go into advanced mode in your analytics. You know what? come hang out my live stream sometime and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. I live stream every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern, and I encourage you to come join me. We'll talk about that in more detail there. But the next thing you want to focus on is your in-screen click-through rate. The reason this one's important is because there's nothing YouTube likes more than having people share out your content, but also having people come in and watch multiple videos on your channel when they do come in and they interact with your content. That's why at the end of your videos, you don't want to end your video and say, hey, thanks for watching and all this other stuff. Instead, you want to recommend another piece of content for somebody to watch like we talked about earlier. And then of course, you also want to make sure that you're looking at your returning viewers. The reason you want to look at your returning viewers is because this gives you an idea of how often people are coming back to your YouTube channel. Because if you can keep people coming back a lot, that's also a really good signal to YouTube. And if you get, a high average view duration on your videos through your audience retention reports, you get a high click-through rate, you have people completing your videos and clicking on more content at the end through your in-screen click-through, and you have people continually coming back through the channel or just binge watching your content in that way, then your channel's gonna do awesome. And if your channel's doing awesome, that'll give you tons of opportunities to make money from it. And keep in mind, when it comes to your stats on YouTube, there is a lot of nuance to it, but if you just focus on those things and paying attention to those things now, as you progress through this journey, you'll learn how to leverage them a little bit more later. But when it comes to making your content, it's also important to make sure that you are considering the experience of the viewer. So when you are recording your content, when you're editing your content, you're putting everything together, in order for your videos to perform well on YouTube, it's important that you're always asking yourself, this part of the video right here, is this important for the viewer? Is this gonna add value to them? Is this gonna give them information? Is this going to entertain them in some way? What is the purpose of this particular section of the video? And would the video be okay? Could it stand on its own if I cut out this particular part? Doing that on a regular basis while you're putting all your content together will help you make better content faster. Now, one more thing that we need to talk about here, because this whole video, the whole purpose of this video is about starting your channel and making money from it. So as part of that, you're also going to need to spread awareness about the things that you are making money from when you start publishing content. So because of that, it's also important to make sure that you are working in those messages into your videos in some way. Of course, there's the obvious approaches like, hey, I can make a review video. If I make a review video, then I might catch somebody that has the intent of possibly making a purchase of this thing. So then that increases the likelihood of me converting that viewer into a sale. And then you have the other approach, which is where you integrate the messaging into your content. So for example, in this video that you're watching right now, when I mentioned TubeBuddy before, that is something to where if you do end up purchasing that later down the road, then I will get a commission for that. However, it's still a super valuable tool. You should still use it, and that doesn't discredit the value of the tool itself, but working that messaging in as part of the content is also another way that you can use in order to spread awareness about the things that you're trying to bring attention to. But one thing to remember when you are doing all this is that, you can frame it in any way that you want to, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're always leading with value. So what that means is you want to make sure that when people are coming into your content, that they're getting great content out of you, that they're getting, what it is that they're coming in for, you're giving them what they expected, but then you're also spreading awareness about the things that you need to spread awareness about in order to make money. In addition to that, if you are promoting things as an affiliate, another tip that I do have for you is it can be really easy to start walking down a road to where like, hey, I'm just going to promote everything. But I really encourage you to make sure that the things that you promote, that you do stand behind, or if possible, you use yourself or you have some experience with. Maybe you're looking at Amazon reviews to see how other people are responding to that particular thing or whatever. But the reason for that is because if you start giving bad recommendations and the things that you're recommending to people suck and they go and they buy it and then they're like, oh my God, this sucks, I'm never taking their recommendation again. However, if you're like, hey, I recommend this thing, it's awesome, it's gonna help you out, and they take that recommendation, they're like, wow, this is awesome, this does help me out, this is great, this new tent that's made out of this new fabric that you recommended, man, it just helped my tent breathe and we're out there camping, it's awesome. I'm gonna take every recommendation this person says, right? So it's just two different experiences that you can create. And because YouTube is a long game, you do have a reputation that you build here. So because of that, I just really encourage you, whatever method you use to monetize, that you make sure that you are doing it in an ethical way and in a way that will, keep people coming back and trusting the recommendations that you give. If you want to learn more about making money on YouTube, click into this playlist right here. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. YouTube also has a bunch of educational resources I'll put links to down in the description to help you out as well. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.